Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing another topic and a very important topic on diet during lactation, and today we'll be discussing about the minerals in the diet and the importance of different minerals in the diet of a lactating women. So let us just quickly go through the different minerals and their RDA, the present and the previous one through this video. First and the foremost important mineral is the calcium. Now we first want to know that why calcium is required during lactation. We have discussed the requirement of calcium during pregnancy. We know the role of calcium during a normal uh, human being, that what is the role of calcium in a normal human being. Now what is the role of calcium in a lactating mother, that we will be discussing in this slide. Now over here you can see a picture is being given that in a lactating women, the calcium intake is through the diet, right? So the serum calcium level, which should be between 9 to 11, so that serum calcium level is there. Now what is happening from the serum calcium level? A homeostasis is being maintained, that from the serum calcium level, the excess calcium, like when it is more than 9 to 11 milligram per dl, it will move to the bones, and when it is lower than that level, it will come from the bones and it will uh, be there in the blood. It will increase the level in the serum calcium. So we always know that that level of 9 to 11 has to be maintained in the serum. Now when it is there, the bone calcium level will be decreasing because the blood calcium level has to increase. Now why a blood calcium level will increase? The blood calcium level will increase, but have to increase because the demand for calcium has to be increased. Now why this demand is increased? Because it can be a case where the mother or the woman is pregnant, it is developing the fetus, or it can be a case where the child is being fed by the mother. Okay, so the serum calcium has to be increased either by the dietary intake, or there will be excessive demineralization of the skeleton or bones, that will be there from the bones, or there will be more reabsorption or resorption from the urine. So ultimately, what we need to do is that we need to increase the serum calcium level, and we need to make a balance of that. So what is the child doing over here? Because the suckling neonate, that means the newborn baby who is suckling from the mother's breast, that is, he or she is being fed exclusively breast milk, or is on weaning diet or anything, the mother is lactating, they need more amount of calcium, not only to mineralize its own skeleton, but also to maintain a physiological process. Okay, so there is a loss in calcium, daily loss, and that daily loss can be around 280 to 400 milligram, and even can be around 1000 milligram. So when there is a loss of that amount, this amount, what will happen? Definitely from the diet that amount can't be given, so there will be a temporary demineralization of the skeleton, which will lead to the main mechanism, or this mechanism which I just discussed. So that's why the lactating mother will need extra calcium and will always need a great demand of calcium throughout their lactating period, not only to meet the demands of the newborn, but also to maintain her own skeleton, also to maintain her own bones and mineralization process. Okay, so over what happens, because why we know that fetus in the uterus during pregnancy and also the neonates who are being fed by the mother who are on the exclusive breastfeeding or in on weaning diets, and also weaning diet doesn't mean that they'll just have the weaning food, but also they are on the mother's breast milk, they are dependent on the maternal source, they need a great balance of calcium in their body to maintain the serum calcium, to actually maintain a balance in the fetal bone health, positive fetal bone health during pregnancy, and also the development of the neonates, mineralization of the neonates, and maintenance of the bone health of the mother to repair remineralization of the demineralized skeleton, of the temporary demineralized skeleton of the mother. Okay, so what can be done, right? So that was the need, but that was actually the cause. So what can be done? Now, how the calcium secreted can be variable. What are the causes, right? So it can be dependent on the amount of breast milk produced, because the child is dependent on the breast milk produced by the mother. So we have to definitely think about the mother's bone health as well. When she was carrying the baby, that means during her pregnancy, how well we have given her calcium, how well we have treated her with the calcium supplements and the calcium foods, right? And also how now we are balancing the calcium, right? Because a lactating mother's health does not only depend on what are you giving her now, also depend on what have you given throughout the pregnancy months. So that is also important, because that will be counting, because with that amount only the child will be formed, right? So the amount of breast milk produced will be definitely based on the mother's bone health and the mother's diet too. That will also lead to or help in the formation of the breast milk calcium concentration. That means the child is having the breast milk, fine, but how good is the breast milk, how good is the calcium concentration is the in the breast milk, that will be dependent on the mother's health. So definitely, if we need to talk about, if we need to think of the child's bone development and child's what I can say calcium development in the body, then the mother, the source of calcium has to be good enough, right? So the breast milk calcium concentration has to be good enough, right? And the length of the lactation period, like from the first day when I have started the lactation videos, from the first day I have been telling you that exclusive breastfeeding, yes. So how long is the lactation period? Or if the child is has started weaning, then how good is the weaning given? Okay, so what happens during this time, during this lactation, there's a combined effect, like the parathyroid hormone receptor protein which is secreted by the breast, and there is an estrogen deficiency, which what they does, they increase the skeleton resorption. Thus just now I told you that there is a temporary demineralization. Resorption means when you are taking the calcium from the bones, taking out the calcium from the bones. So there is increase in the skeletal resorption. And always keep in mind that we have to remineralize it as well. It is a temporary situation, and if we don't feel it, it can be lifelong process. Okay, and there will be reduce in the renal calcium losses, and hence there will be blood calcium that will be raised, and this blood calcium will be directed to the breast milk. So definitely the child can also have the calcium from the breast milk, right? So we have to guide the mother, we have to tell the mother to have good sources of calcium and how much to take, so that the breast milk is also enriched. It can be full of proper calcium, so that the child also get the proper amount of calcium. So over here it is said that about 500 ml of milk and milk products, when we were discussing the different sources of protein, I told you what was the amount to be taken for milk, right? So milk and milk products definitely has to be taken, and other than milk and milk products, other sources can be taken. So at least 500 ml of milk and milk products, if we can take, then a good amount of calcium can be achieved, or we can get a good amount of calcium requirement from this. So now, according to RDA 2010, normal women calcium requirement was 600 mg, which was just doubled during lactating women or lactation period. Like 600 mg was given during the lactating period, was about 1200 mg, but now in the 2020 RDA, the normal requirement of a woman is 1000 mg, because I told you in the previous video when we were discussing about the pregnancy diets as well, when we were discussing comparison chart between RDA 2010 and RDA 2020, we were discussing that we are trying to raise the amount of different nutrients throughout in the normal uh, women, so that the base of the mineral or the base of the vitamin is there in the would be mother, or would be a lactating mother, would be pregnant mother, would be lactating mother, right? So that when the girl conceives, or when the girl is feeding her child, she doesn't have any problem to have that extra amount, or we can reach that amount. So there is no deficiency uh, in that amount of a particular vitamin or a mineral. So normal women, according to RDA 2020, normal women will take 1000 mg of calcium, and a lactating women of 1200 mg of calcium. So lactating women for both the RDAs are same, but the normal women, the requirement of calcium for normal women has increased from 600 mg to 1000 mg. Okay. So coming to some phosphorus food, it is always said that the requirement of calcium is to phosphorus for lactating women, pregnant women, whatever it is, mainly for the lactating women, should be always 1:1. Okay, and always keep in mind, we will definitely discuss the advantages of breast milk and the nutritional benefits of breast milk in detail whenever we'll be discussing infancy. But always keep in mind that the breast milk produces the calcium and the phosphorus level as 2:1, which is actually needed for the infant. Okay, so it is very much beneficial for the infant growth if the calcium is to phosphorus ratio is 2:1. But in case of adult and any other age group, it is always 1:1, that the calcium and is to phosphorus level should be, right? So I have given you the dairy sources of calcium. The non-dairy sources of calcium include sesame seeds, almonds, squash, oranges, figs, collard greens, tofu, chia seeds. So different seeds, almonds, And also ragi as a cereal is a very good source of calcium, as you know that this is the millet year. So that definitely consumption of millets can be uh, told to everyone. And the benefits of ragi is also very good. Ragi is also a very good source of calcium, and it can be given to a lactating mother. And the source of calcium definitely can be in 1:1 ratio with the phosphorus sources. Like sesame seeds is also rich in phosphorus, crack cashew, pumpkin seeds, wheat bran, that means whole wheat, if we can take with the bran proper, rotis, chapatis we can take, that is good. Dried beans, almonds, again a common source. Garlic, you know, it's always very good. Mushrooms and brazil nuts, which is not very common, but definitely the common sources are there where from where you can get the phosphorus. So always keep in mind that an adult always need the calcium and phosphorus level or ratio as 1:1, and an infant requires it into 2:1, which is actually perfect in mother's milk or breast milk. Now coming to another very important mineral, that is magnesium. And we know that if there is a deficiency in magnesium, there will be a deficiency in the baby's growth too. So magnesium is very very important. We have talked in detail what happens if there is hypomagnesia in pregnancy. Definitely. So breastfed women, breastfed mother, breastfed child or breastfed mother, or the lactating mother rather, should have a good amount of magnesium in the diet. It should be a balanced diet as we always say, but definitely it should have a proper amount of magnesium in the diet. And if magnesium is not, a balanced diet will definitely have magnesium. And if magnesium is not there, definitely you need to have magnesium supplements given by the doctor. So the normal women consumption of magnesium should be 310 mg, and lactating women 310 mg. So according to RDA 2010, it was similar, same. But normal women recommendation, you just see it has raised up to 370 mg. So the need of magnesium has grown nowadays, so we have to focus on magnesium as well. So in the normal women, requirement only has been raised to 370 mg in RDA 2020, which is a newer version. And the lactating women has even been increased to 400 mg. So really we have to think of uh, like giving the magnesium rich diet to a breastfeeding mother or a lactating mother. So now how we can eat? Definitely apricots, avocado, bananas, beets, like these are there in our diet. Blackberries are not very common. Broccoli, cherries, peaches, okra, bhindi, green bell pepper, spinach, peaches, these vegetables, beets, these are very good sources of magnesium, and that can be taken. Like if we can choose around the amount, then we can say that if we can take one handful of, like a small handful of a fist of pumpkin seeds, we can get around 160 mg of magnesium, which can actually give you more or less half of our requirement. So that's, we can understand that how we can balance the magnesium in our diet, or how we can incorporate the magnesium in our diet. Same with, like, pumpkin seeds are really good, and it's also an easy and an available thing. You can easily get some pumpkin and just take out the seeds, wash it, dry it under sun, just have it, munch it. Or you can just dry roast it and powder it and just mix with anything and have it. So that is very good for the body, for the magnesium, for the body. You can also have cashew, spinach, buckwheat, dark chocolate, and black beans. So half cup and half cup spinach is about 70 milligram of magnesium. 30 grams of cashew has 87 milligrams of magnesium. 30 grams of dark chocolate, that means 4 cubes, can give you 68 milligram. So dark chocolate is very tasty, so you just can have an opt for this option, definitely. So magnesium will be definitely reached if you can have a balanced diet, incorporating these into diet. Seeds are very good for your diet. Coming to another very important mineral, the important mineral of all time, you can say the iron, right? So infant definitely requires iron because they need to increase their blood volume. Okay, and also their body weight is increasing, for that also they need iron. And always keep in mind that breast milk does not give you appreciable amount of iron, but the little bit amount which is available in the breast milk is available to the baby as well because of the lactoferrin which is there. Okay, so what we can question, we can question that do infant get enough iron from the breast milk? Okay, so this breast milk, as I told you, breast milk, they give you appreciable amount, does not contain appreciable amount of iron. But actually, how much iron will the baby get will be determined by the iron store of the mother. I think if you just can remember the vicious cycle I told you, the poverty, the vicious cycle, infection, malnourishment, right? The vicious cycle which I told you about iron in pregnancy, same over here. So whether the gestation, what was the gestational age of the mother? What was the maternal iron status? What was the iron status of the mother? Okay, and what was the like how matured is the child, right? All these things, how developed is the child, how was the umbilical cord, like when it was clamped, right? All these things determine the iron store of the child, and it will be definitely formed when a baby is born. A baby is born with the iron store, and that has to be formed by the mother itself. Okay, and if the iron source is not good, breast milk can give you a little bit, whatever it is there in the breast milk, the child will get because of lactoferrin. Otherwise that, other than that, what we need to do is that we have to think about the weaning foods as well. We need to incorporate iron in the weaning food as well, right? Before that, we have to think of the mother's iron requirement, the lactating mother's iron requirement, as well as we thought of the pregnant mothers. Because the pregnant mother's iron requirement determines the child iron store. And as the iron store is formed, it will just add on. Okay. So over here I have also added the pregnant woman just to show you what is the difference. Like according to RD 2010, the blue one is representing RD 2010 and the green one is representing RD 2020. So according to RD 2010, 21 milligram was given to normal women and a 35 milligram was given to pregnant women. Over here again for lactating women there is no extra, that is 21 milligram. That means what? That means that the mother does not need during lactation, right? But in case of RD 2020, 29 milligram is being given daily basis because the mother need a supplementation throughout, or the mother need to build up the iron store throughout, just like the calcium as I told you. Okay, understood. And then during pregnancy a little bit of the amount has decreased, no excess has been given because of the iron store or the iron regularly that you are providing. And even lactating women, it has even decreased. because from the mother's iron, no extra. Why extra has not been given? Because whatever it was formed, it was formed. Whatever it was formed, it was formed, and nothing extra is going to the baby. So over, according to RDA 2010, extra was giving extra 14 mg was been given for the child's formation. Again, lactating women was getting the normal women's one, right? But in RD 2020, normal women is only getting 29 mg. That means their formation, we are trying to make the formation from a very first age, so that we don't think of iron when the women is pregnant. We have to think it beforehand. Clear? So iron rich food, definitely dark green leafy vegetables, broccoli, legumes, lentils, dried fruits, but these are all, as you know, get need the help of vitamin C to be absorbed in our body. And great sources are red meat, shellfish, egg yolks, poultry. These are great sources of iron rich foods that can be taken by the lactating mothers. Zinc, another very important mineral. It is a cofactor of different enzymes and colostrum. Colostrum is the first milk that comes out from the breast. That is the colostrum. We will definitely discuss this in detail in the stages of milk. When we'll be doing the breast milk, stages of milk, we'll be definitely talking about colostrum, the functions of colostrum. But remember, it's the first expressed milk, the milk which comes out, the first milk which comes out from the breast is the colostrum. It's a dark yellowish colored fluid. Okay. And the human milk which is secreted and which the child takes, they help in the zinc absorption also. So when the mother is secreting that zinc from through the breast milk, and the child is suckling that milk, the zinc is being absorbed as well, because human milk helps in the absorption of zinc. The copper and the zinc ratio in the human milk is 1 is to 5, which again helps in growth. Okay. So again, RDA 2010, normal women was 10 mg, lactating women 12 mg. So the requirement has risen up. In RTA 2020, the main thing which I told you, again, see, from 10 it is now 13.2. The general requirements have risen up, because they are now believing that we have to think about day to day life, not only the vulnerable conditions, or not only the special conditions like pregnancy, lactation, etc. Okay. So 13.2 the normal women and 14.1 the lactating women. Okay. Good sources of zinc comes from the red meats, the mainly the liver of the red meat. Almonds, sunflower seeds are very good. Peas, wheat, carrots, milk, egg, uh, cheese, walnuts, and groundnuts. These are very good sources of uh, zinc. Coming to iodine, you know that why iodine are very important, because if a pregnant or a lactating mother, breastfeeding mother, are deficient in iodine, then there can be cognitive and psychomotor deficiencies in the child as well, right? So just see, it is just double. Normal women 140 mg per day, and lactating women 280. So the iodine level has doubled. So you have to include egg, shellfish, uh, prunes, dried fruits, corns, and different kinds of lean meats, cheese in the diet too. And also iodized salt, definitely iodized salt in the mother's diet, the lactating mother's diet, to benefit the mother with iodine. So that was all with the different important minerals and the use of them during the need of them during the lactating time, and what is the RDA of them, comparison again between the RD 2010 and RD 2020. I hope you liked the session, and in the next video we'll be discussing on the different vitamins which is required during the lactation period. So that's all for today. Stay tuned and support Educators. Thank you.